And with that, the TMRG podcast episode 7 took a nosedive. Because we're going to talk about the second film today. And I'm saying that because I'm guessing. So obviously I don't know what you man think about this.
I said a nosedive though.
But I've got a pretty good idea. But anyway, film number 2 we're going to go into now is...
You know, a nosedive means a crash and burn. You know what that means?
Remember that you said this because if I'm right, I'm going to give myself a round of applause. But yeah, Midsommar, released July the 5th, 2019, directed by Aster. We had Florence Pugh as Danny Ardor, Jack Reynor as Christian Hughes, William Jackson Harper as Josh, Vilhelm Blomgren as Pele, and Will Poulter as Mark. With their relationship in trouble, a young American couple travel to a fabled Swedish midsummer festival where a seemingly pastoral paradise transforms into a sinister, dread-soaked nightmare as the locals reveal their terrifying agenda.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Hey!
Giles, were you entertained?
No.
Amari, were you entertained?
Yes.
Kyle, were you entertained?
No. I wasn't entertained either.
So I start then.
You do start. Yes, you do start.
Let us set the table.
So firstly, that synopsis was incorrect because...
All right. I'll tell you what. Right. So what we're gonna do, yeah. I'm gonna lay the table for you, and then you come to dinner. So, film number 2, we have Midsommar, released July the 5th, directed by Aster. We had synopsis.
A young American couple having relationship troubles decide to go on a trip to one of their fellow students' homelands to get
I love the tone, by the way.
To get away from their troubles and find a new experience and reconnect in the new environment.
Sorry, I can't hold myself. Firstly, no. I'm interjecting. Hold on. You said a young American couple are having troubles.
Which is true.
Hold on. Let's not downplay what's going on here.
Okay, all right.
Hold on. Plot lines, sir. I can't give plot lines in the synopsis.
All right. Let's go again. Let's go again because this is going to sound interesting because you sound like you've got a job you can do. So here we go. Midsommar. Released July the 5th.
No, I'm not doing the synopsis. I'll go with what IMDb says, and then we'll let him say what he's saying, and then we'll debate the film.
All right, go for it.
And can I just point out, they didn't decide to go as a couple. He was going and she tagged along.
She tagged on.
Okay, firstly, I understand
He reluctantly allowed her to come.
However, what did the synopsis say? So I'm going with the theme.
What did the synopsis say? Hold on.
A young American couple go on a trip.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
So I'm just saying it. I'm not trying to spoil the story, though, innit? Story.
We already told him this spoiler alert. So don't worry.
No, but I want to do it my version.
Okay, he's going to say what he didn't get from the synopsis. Go.
Right. And they go and experience another culture's lifestyle. I love my version. Anyway, let me tell you why I like this film.
Yeah.
Because it gave me one specific moment which I was like...
No, don't do scenes.
Oh, no. I'm telling you telling you why I automatically knew I was going to like this film.
Go on.
Because there was a scene of... Obviously, we're going to talk about the jumping off the cliff.
Yeah, we will.
We will.
But that's not. But it's the after effect of the scene.
Yeah.
So it's when I don't know what her name was, but I'm gonna call her the grandwoman, the grandmother, or she's like. So we have our 4 seasons, and now in our culture, it gets to a stage
72.
Yeah. So we're now in winter. It's time to die. Now for us, instead of being in care homes and then being in those places, we decide to take a leap to death. That is how we want to live. Now, I thought that was a very refreshing way to look at something compared to in a Western culture where you have this set of rules where, okay, you're elderly. This is what we're going to do with you.
Yeah.
Whereas you have the choice to not be elderly and die. You could die with some dignity. It's a bit shady.
That was dying with dignity? That was dying with dignity? Are you sure?
In that culture's perspective.
Come on.
Hold up. In the culture's perspective, you can't, they didn't have no needles to do a little, let me do an injection. For them, the only way to do it is like, let's give ourselves back to the earth and just do the woo woo woo. Bang.
That's not dignity.
That's not dignity.
That was their version of dignity. I'm not saying it was correct dignity.
Listen,
I'm not
their
saying
version of everything was not anyone's version.
Okay, but I'm just explaining
this film was nonsense.
It was. Listen,
it was.
It was a nonsense.
It was.
However, I'm gonna give it an award for the most elaborate murder suicides I've ever seen. Like, as opening of films go, that was what they hit you with.
Okay, right. So, piggybacking off that, Giles, in my notes, opening scene. That's the first thing I wrote. Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Mad. That was mad. The opening was mad.
So you had shots of like scenery and whatever, and then I think it cut to the parents just lying in bed. But it looked like they were asleep.
Yeah.
And then it went back to more scenery or whatever. And then it was like it was.
And you know the worst thing about this, yeah? That's obviously the opening of the film.
So
I was invested. I was thinking, because again, as I said before we started, I hadn't seen Hereditary.
Yeah, I have.
But I've heard it's supposed to be good.
It's a Marmite film from what I was reading.
Yeah.
Either people really love it or hate it.
I haven't seen it, but you know what? If it's anything like this, I'm going to
It's not like this.
Oh,
but that's the thing. It's not like this.
Oh, that's a shame.
Well, that makes more sense because hearing that...
Nothing else is like this.
Hearing that made me think, yeah, right, I definitely need to see this. And then, so... This film could have been good.
It could have been good.
It was good. It was good. It was good. It could have been good. It was good.
There was a lot there that they played with a lot of sort of routes that they could have taken, which could have made this very good.
No,
but for me, it again, as I said, nosedive. It started so strongly. I was invested. I was like, I love the whole psychology with Danny. Like, I was thinking, yeah, this is a madness. Like, the effect this would have on someone. I like the prickishness of Christian, where he was kind of just like the guy who I've forgotten his name. I'll think of his name, but you know the one. He was like the one friend who was like, "Binner, done it. Like, you don't need to be with her."
You mean
Will Poulter?
Yes.
Yeah.
I liked his character because he was just kind of like the prick of the guys, innit? And he was kind of, what are you doing with her kind of thing. So I thought that the whole tone of that was excellent. But then it just, the minute they got to Sweden...
I loved it. I loved it. I even loved the Decepticon behavior of their Swedish friend. Of the way he was just acting like, it's good that you're coming.
Mad.
It's good that you're... And I was like, oh, it'll be good. I was like... I knew something was gonna happen.
What was going on, man? Like,
but I didn't know what. I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready for it.
All right, Carl, hit us with your...
He's
He's been charging up, innit?
Come on, Carl.
Nah, but for me, there's not many films that have annoyed me on this level.
Yeah. It was annoying. It was weird and annoying as well.
The more it went on, the more angry I was getting.
I need to see his facial expressions to understand.
There's not many films I want to walk out of the cinema for, but this was one of them. The ridiculousness of this film. I can't believe you enjoyed it.
Yeah, how? Do you know what? You see how you said? See what you just said there? You can't believe you enjoyed it. I'm gonna one up his enjoyment. Watch what I'm gonna tell you. What happened when I was watching the movie? Yeah, carry on.
Kyle, out of interest, what scene or what point was it where you were like, I'm so close to just being over it? And before you answer that, we're not going to talk about that scene. We're going to talk about that collectively in a few moments. So don't, if you have anything to say about it, hold it in. Hold yourself, man.
I can't tell you the tipping point, but it started to annoy me from when, again, the scene where he's jumped off the cliff. Yeah.
Well, the extra bashes.
And then, the extra bashes.
It was... In my notes, I had... What did I even put for that? I was like...
I just thought that was just stupid.
Was it necessary? Yeah, look. Mallet hits. Were they necessary?
The first one was because he hadn't died yet because his leg was doing all kind of... But that the way they passed it around like it's a pass the parcel, I was like...
Yeah, the mallet.
Everyone could get a hit.
No, but it was like... And the thing that annoyed me the most is that it only seemed to be the English people that were like in shock.
No,
because they were outsiders.
They're outsiders.
They were outsiders.
No, but I'm saying the black guy, he was entertained by this.
He was doing the things in the paper.
But it doesn't matter. What, if someone dies, you're not gonna think.
No, but you're mistaken. No, wait.
That's not a man jumped the cliff.
No, but he
half of his face off. I'm not thinking, oh, this is good for my research.
Do you know what I put? Do you want to know what I put for my notes for that scene? I said, she's gonna jump, isn't she? Yep, she jumped. Oh, how's he not dead? Then to round it off, hammer time. The thing is, there's a great little shot of when they pan. There's like a little pan,
yes,
where you see the hammer.
Yeah.
You see
and off that, the cinematography. And again, this is why I was so disappointed, because aesthetically, this film was good.
Oh yeah,
it looked great. Like
it did
I
look
felt
great.
like I was there, and I think one of the sort of taglines I've been seeing on the internet is horror story in the day, and I liked that. And the scenes at nighttime where they were all in that sort of room, and it was. It felt. I thought it was good. I
Did
felt
you see
like I
how
was
big
there.
that hammer was? I can't get over it. The side, the hammerhead was above his head. Like it was we've been subjected to MOVIEW for how many years now. That's a hammer. This was a hammer. It's like, you know, that Crocodile Dundee line. You call that a knife? You call that a hammer? Did you see how big it was?
Mallet. Give it its respect. Mallet.
Rude boy.
Okay, to answer Carl's question, the reason why the black guy wasn't surprised is because he knew what was going to happen before. Because when they was
He'd researched.
Yeah, he already knew what he wanted from the whole experience.
Right.
And this is why he got so angry about the shitty boyfriend.
Yeah.
About stealing the thing, because he already knew. And he was like...
He was really geared up
and
for
he
this.
didn't tell the others what was going to happen. Because they was like, is it really like one of those real ones? He's like, yes, it is. And then the others was like, so what is it like? He said, don't worry, we'll see tomorrow. We'll see tomorrow.
Yeah.
I get that, but again, depending on the sort of person you are, even if I know someone is gonna die, like actually seeing that, I expect some sort of reaction.
Well, that's
because you reading about it in a book and then actually seeing it in person, I just thought
it might be a bit unsettling.
But if you have a different mentality, then you know.
And he was focused.
Maybe.
But
That's what I'm saying. It started from that point. But then there was a scene after scene after scene where I was like, this is stupid. Is no one noticing that people are going missing?
Bro.
Listen, the Asian couple, I'm just taking him to the station, but there's only a British couple.
They're from London.
There was an Asian girl in it, like a mixed race guy.
I'm just taking
Is it Simon?
I think so. Yeah.
I'm just taking
I think.
Oh, there's only space
Where's
for
Simon
one.
gone?
There's only space for one.
We dropped him to the station.
Yeah,
but he wouldn't do that. Well, I've dropped him. I can confirm I dropped him to the station. Okay.
I've spoken to
I'll drop you to the station if you want, because Simon's waiting there for you.
No, Simon's already gone because he missed the train, so she had to stay another day, remember?
Yeah, but
there's only space for 2 people.
In the whole thing.
What vehicle? What are we driving? A smart car? What do you mean there's only space for 2 people?
Yeah, it was stuff like that started getting to me.
It was dumb.
Okay, I understand that part was crazy. I'm not gonna lie. That little scene, but
No, it's not only that, but then even when
let's just have a random bear. Let's just have a random bear.
It wasn't random. It was there for a purpose.
It was there for a purpose, but at the start it was random.
Yeah, but you know what? It tied in.
The whole thing was random. The minute they got,
it seemed random, but it wasn't. Everything was tied in correctly.
No, I'm not saying it wasn't, but there was just no need.
It was need for everything.
Because I was watching this. Nonsense.
It was a nonsense.
I was watching this and
Absolute nonsense.
I was like, this is wild. I couldn't even imagine it. Like, you know what? And it's like, it's not, I didn't even find it as a horror. Because, you know, obviously I was like, I'm not watching no film that I think is juju.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, but I watched this happily.
So you can sit through this, but you can't sit through Annabelle.
Because this was human beings doing human being nonsense behavior.
Yeah.
This is not some stupid creature trying to come kill me because I believe in a stupid creature.
Can we talk about the sex scene, please?
Is it time?
Hang on. Yeah, actually, yeah, because that is. Yeah, let's talk about that because I've got something else to say about that.
All right.
Yeah,
so I think what I'm gonna open the discussion with is this rendition. You wanted some singing? Here's some singing. Brother, I was.
This guy is laughing. I swear to you, I was getting angry.
He actually enjoyed it.
I was getting angry at this point.
Listen.
All right. Like, where do we even start? Where do we begin? And why have I not seen anything about this scene on social media? That's what I'm baffled about.
No, there's bits.
They probably don't
I
want to
haven't
spoil
seen-
it, maybe.
Go on Twitter. There's bits on Twitter.
I haven't seen a scene like this in boy.
You don't remember a scene like this.
No,
I
don't. If I'm honest,
and it's the fact that it's the lead up. It's the fact that
Yes.
she was now getting crowned queen, right? after she taken her hallucinogenics, or
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah, and
even
they
know
did
what
the Midsummer
there was
dance
some
thing.
next. There was
Yeah.
some next kind of
Oh, that
behavior.
dance was mad.
Yeah, it was. No, it was.
That dance was
Hey,
mad.
listen. How many rounds would you last in? I think I would have been done after 2. You know, 100%.
And you go around in circles, and you off on the whatever mushroom juice or
Yeah, it's
whatever.
mad.
It was
mad.
madness.
It was mad.
And then
Well
he.
filmed though, because I like the way the camera was
Yeah,
moving
panning,
through that.
yeah.
Yeah,
But can we discuss the part that she put the ginger pubes in his food as she had chosen him? Can we
Did you
just-
not? But did you not also see that his drink was?
was different?
Yeah, because the period. She
Yeah,
put
yeah,
her-
there's period blood in there. You didn't
didn't
see that
clock
part.
that.
Yeah.
Did you not see that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if it was
didn't
period
clock
blood or
that.
just blood,
I
but it was
didn't-
definitely
I clocked it was different, but I didn't.
No,
think.
that's where it came from.
because if you look,
Wow.
remember when they panned across the paintings.
The painting.
Yeah, it showed
There was a
how
bit- they showed- they basically-
They
if you
showed
go-
it with it dripping up.
Yeah.
Right.
Mad.
Basically, those paintings.
Yeah, 'cause I
they
did- yeah.
were the foreshadowing of what was about
Yeah.
to go
And
on.
you know, I remember that because you see when they first saw the bear and they're walking and it goes behind the yellow pyramid.
That's right.
And I saw and I thought that's quite cool. They're kind of telling you what's coming.
Yeah. Oh, they
through.
did.
Oh, yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
Even down to the point where, what was the friend's name? What was the Swedish friend's name?
I've got it here actually. He was Pele, or was he the brother, or was it Josh? I think
can't remember.
Pele
Let's call
was
them Sweden 1 and
Yeah.
2 because
Yeah.
we're going to
So
struggle here.
the-
Sweden
the-
1.
the
'Cause I
Swedish
feel like
friend.
Pele was his brother when he got there. So yeah.
He said, my parents.
This is the part that
My
killed me.
parents
Parents died.
died.
But now I know they died the last midsummer.
His parents,
Yeah.
and he said, but everyone was there for me.
Yeah,
So his parents,
Kidnapped other people same way.
mad
Yeah.
thing.
this thing was
That
ongoing.
family.
So his parents were sacrificed in one of them fire things.
Mad. But anyway, back to the
Yeah. So he now gets taken to a location and she just lays there. It's the fact that she's ready to, so he's now ripe. She basically, they said she's ripe. That's
But do you
basically
know what?
they
I
said.
think that is it. Christian.
yeah.
Yeah,
He was a douchebag.
no doubt.
Yeah.
He got his comeuppance.
He got what he
because he
deserved.
was just a punk.
He did.
'Cause all he
Yeah.
had to do was say, "Do you know what?
It's not.
It's all too much. Like
I'm
your
done.
whole situation with the
It's too much for
sister and your parents dying. It's all too much for me." He just, but no.
Yeah.
No,
but-
just come. Just
Yeah.
come.
I
Just
got that
loose,
because
innit? Yeah.
that was you had all different characters. So again, he was the douchebag. You had the black guy that was just only interested in like almost ripping off
Studies
the
and-
culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was the only pure
The
one. That's why
irony,
she
the
survived.
black guy interested in ripping
Yeah.
off the culture.
Exactly.
Oh, the irony. Oh my gosh.
Typecasting.
It's a nice touch doing it. It's a nice
And
touch.
it is, and it kind of the dynamic of the group did work. I will say that.
I liked that, but everything else I didn't.
Yeah, I wasn't ready for this scene. I ain't gonna lie to you. When man
No,
dropped-
but
when
it
man
was,
dropped
it was
the-
stupid though.
Yeah,
That's
it
what
was
I'm
mad.
saying. It was stupid.
mad.
Did you like that scene?
What, the sex scene?
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious.
It was more gra-
I was
Yeah,
watching
people
because it
were
was
laughing.
funny
People in my
because-
cinema
yeah.
were laughing, but I was annoyed as opposed to laughing.
But it was interesting though because it's because
Come
okay,
on.
Okay, put it like this. Okay, think about it different way. This is her entering womanhood, yeah. In terms of now she's having. I'm just saying, think about it from a different way.
Not gonna.
Okay,
No.
she's now entering womanhood. The way she enters womanhood is by having sex.
Yes.
Okay, so now the females of the group
Yes.
are helping her and
With her
transitioning
through
her
this
through this
You need to
process.
hold hand and push him and do all of
Hold on.
No.
Have you never been pushed, son? No, it was mad. It was a mad.
I'm not saying it's
scene.
not a mad scene, but I'm just saying that the whole point of I feel like the whole point of this, I could be wrong because I'm not the director. I'm not. But it's
But it's what you took from it.
Yeah, it's look from a culture in a different way. So from this perspective, this is how you become a woman.
woman.
And from and obviously, I feel like if it wasn't that kind of, if it wasn't Midsommar, then it might have been different. It wouldn't have been a foreigner. It would have been just somebody inside the family hut, the clan. Then it wouldn't have been like, and we wouldn't be so confused about it. But it's an outside view. It's an outside
And I get
perspective
that.
in, and I feel like this is why I like the film because you're seeing things and you're making you think of things. I know, I get it. It is weird and
Alright.
and
But do you know what?
disconjuncted.
Of what you're saying, I agree in the sense of if you're gonna do something scary and make it realistic, this could be real.
Yeah,
This
I-
probably
kind of
is
stuff
real.
could be going on
It
right
probably
now.
is.
It's
It
not
probably
to
is
say,
real.
but not to say whether it's real. But again, there's another thing. So it's only after that point that the guy's scared and tries to run away. After everything else that's happened,
Yeah, nothing else.
After
Nothing
everything
else.
else that's
Oh no,
happened,
he had issues.
you're happy to stay there.
No, but because he
No,
he wanted to get
no.
he wanted to get his thesis, isn't it? That's why.
Nah,
he wanted to
nah.
steal these thesis, literally
Nah.
steal these thesis.
Listen,
Can we talk about it? Wait,
from the
carry on.
moment they landed, yeah,
And the whistle
everyone was just chilling in the field. Like we're just in the field.
You already knew. You already
And
knew
it was
the
like,
same
and then
time.
literally, this is such and such. He's like, oh, come,
take drugs.
take drugs.
Let's all just take
Listen,
drugs.
I'd have been. Do you know what? I think I forgot something in the car. Just straight reverse. Not even turning the car. Just reverse.
Listen,
I'll do
you one better. Excuse the poor Swedish. Would you like to come to my country to sorry, what, mate? To we stay in field and we take the no.
Okay,
Thank you.
but okay. But
All right, let's talk about the final scene, please.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
but
just to finish what you were saying, off Amari's point, I do get why you like this, because it did have it had a really realistic kind of feel to it, and it's looking at things from a different perspective, which I can agree with you on that. Yeah.
Before we get to the final scene, could you talk about the previous deaths, or in terms of the way that the dickhead boy, I don't remember what his name was,
Josh.
His Will Poulter.
Yeah.
his
the
character.
little guy,
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark,
how he got,
his name was.
how he got kidnapped because he thought he was gonna have sex, and I knew when he was getting kidnapped.
Come.
Yeah.
Christian, the boyfriend.
No,
the brethren.
Will Poulter, the guy,
because
and he pissed on the ancestors.
No, that was hilarious. The guy was
The guy was just in his face.
You knew he was done.
when he was eating.
You knew he was done.
You knew it.
You knew he was done.
You knew it. There was no debate about it.
No, but anyone else was eating, yeah, and he just looked up. just
Like, yeah, that's it.
And he did it.
But it
How
was
did
the
he not realise?
subtitles. He peed on my family.
But you listen. You should listen. You're in a civilization where they are quite content at 72 years old to jump off cliffs. Like
You should know.
Like you know what time it. You pissed on
Exactly.
his ancestors.
No, but it's the
How
fact-
do you think that's going to?
But
So
it was
you
the
think
nonchalantness, bruv.
Yeah,
It was the
effectively, it wasn't the problem.
ignorance.
completely
ignorant.
westernized ignorance. Right.
Yeah.
Final scene, and then favorite scenes, and then star rating. Yeah. One thing I'll say, I'm sorry, but law-abiding citizen, come on. That for me, if you want to do burning scenes, you want to do fire,
Yep.
you want to end the film with that takes the award. So it was a bit mad, and the way that you know some of them were still alive, and then it was the sacrificial. It was quite sort of.
Did you see how the brother got sacrificed as well?
He just gave himself up, didn't he?
And then he got
Normal.
injected, so he didn't feel pain, or
Yeah.
or supposedly he didn't feel pain.
Yeah, it was. But at this point, I'd already psychologically checked out of the film anyway. And then
Long time.
what annoyed me as well was that Danny starts laughing,
Smiling.
At me. Yeah, that.
Yep. the smile was dark. I'm not gonna lie to you.
But didn't you get that?
But because she was part of a new family now.
No.
Yeah. See, I got that.
Yeah,
I get the metaphors. But again, in real life,
No,
there
not necessary.
are 6
No,
people burning
no,
in
I
a
honestly-
house,
no,
burning
right,
to
as well
death
as-
As well as all the other people that have been killed.
and now you're acting manic in a field, dancing around. This is my.
But okay, but
No,
wait.
but she's now a flower.
stressed.
She's
Yeah,
now
but
she's now a flower. So it
No,
doesn't matter.
For me personally,
The Midsommar.
I understand her whole psychologically changed, because basically she's been broken willed, because she feels like this place is wrong. Then she sees the one person that was keeping her stable.
Yes.
Realize that he's now pressing out the next thing.
I get all
and
the
then
messages.
and then she just breaks, and then she's like, and then the other guy's like, the whole theme that she was getting told by the elders, we're family.
Yes.
You could be our family. We're
Don't
family.
get me wrong. I fully understand
I
the messages
get you understand
and
it,
the
but your face is saying
metaphors
otherwise.
that the director was going for. But you just put in gratuitous scenes to try and explain that point is not good enough for me. Not good enough at all.
Do you know the way the guy was hanging up, that the dick guy that
No,
he was like,
no.
with,
It
with
was
his
just-
body pumping out? I was like,
It was just shock value for shock value's sake, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go around real quick. Favorite / memorable scenes. Let's go, Kyle.
It was at the beginning. They were having an argument about going to Sweden.
Yeah,
They were
in her
boyfriend and
flat.
the girl- yeah.
Yeah.
So I liked that back and scene because it reminded me of me and my wife.
Oh, do you often have arguments about going to IKEA or something?
Look, you're only getting 2 hot dogs. But I want 3. 2, woman, 2.
I'm eating for 2, you know.
It was the fact that he didn't get it. He didn't get why she was angry. She was saying it's not the fact you didn't tell me.
Yeah.
It's not the fact that you're going, it's the fact that you didn't tell me.
Yeah.
And
The
that is
simple
a
ones.
similar theme that I've had many arguments over.
I can relate to that one
Yeah.
as well. Amari.
Come back to me. Go to Giles first, because I have a few to talk about.
Giles.
I wouldn't say favourite scene, just it's just probably the old couple jumping off the cliff. Not for a good reason. Just it was
memorable.
Yeah, very. And then there was even bits where they kind of cut to it. That you saw the head getting bashed in.
Yeah. Well, that off the back of that, mine was Danny's dream.
Yeah.
So when she wakes up and she sees that she's been left in that building or in that sort of area, and then there was like some flashes between her family, like the corpses in.
Yeah.
It was macabre at times.
It was proper macabre.
It was macabre at times, but it was memorable, and that's good cinematography.
Yeah.
It's good placement.
My memorable scene was the speech explaining the seasons of life. How as a junior, 0 to 18, you're here with the family, you're here, you're learning about yourselves. And then I think it's 18 to 36, you go out to the real world, live in the real world. And then you come back, and that's so obviously you go for spring, summer, fall, and winter.
Yeah.
And I thought the understanding of doing it as a cycle like that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's really weird, but I maybe because I feel like we live in a Western culture, but this idea to see it so differently, it's real creepy, and some of it is not necessary. Like there's nicer ways or more dignified ways, but the whole cultural base of it makes so much sense to me in comparison to the way we live in our culture now.
You know, you said we live in a Western culture.
Yeah. Oh, that's not a Western culture.
Sweden's in the Western.
That is not a Western culture.
I'm just saying.
Okay, the Western ideology that we live in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Their culture is definitely not a normal Western culture.
Right.
So that's why.
Star ratings. Who wants to kick it off?
Me.
Right.
1 star.
1 star.
One, just because it was. Do you know my final note? My final note was, what the fuck did I just watch? That was my final note. I've literally written there. What the fuck? You're gonna have to edit this out, but I don't care. What the fuck did I just watch?
She's like, don't even edit it.
Yeah, no, you have to leave that in so they get the full gravitas.
Yeah.
You know, like, I urge, do you know what? I actually urge everyone to go and watch this just so that they can come out thinking, what the fuck did I just watch?
It was, no, from start to finish, it was a mad thing.
It got 1 star because the film was just weird. And I just, it was sick. But however, it gets even more surreal. Like, my whole cinema experience was just the weirdest cinema experience ever. There was about 7 people in the cinema, yeah, including myself. Okay? Yeah, I'll do this quickly. One of the guys was your typical roadman. He had his hood on. He had the puffer jacket with the hood on.
In the cinema, you know.
Like, in my head, I'm like, why have you come to see this? What? But the joke was, the joke was, when it got to, he kept on walking out. So there were bits that were too much for him. He kept on walking out.
What?
Yeah. Came back in still with his hood on. And sat, anyway, on top of that, I was sat towards the back of the cinema. And I wasn't even aware that there were 2 people sat behind me.
Mad.
Halfway through the film, I'm hearing noises.
Hello.
Yeah.
Intrigued.
So there was, yeah.
Was it?
I've turned round.
Was it
this bird is sitting like, who gets turned on by this shit?
I know people.
So again, it just listen, 1 star. Just traumatized.
That is a very immersive experience.
I'm telling you, like, yeah. I'm not even like. Just to add, it was very well shot.
Yeah.
It's some of the. I liked when there was bits, especially towards the beginning, where when she was on the phone trying to get hold of her sister. I liked the fact they had the close up of her, but the background was blurred. I and some of the sweeping shots and the scenery, and it did actually feel like you was in that community. And last thing what I liked was the silent moments.
Yeah.
You know, just the bits where you like raw.
Well placed.
And it was literally that phrase, silence is deafening.
I agree.
But 1 star.
1 star.
What the f*** did I watch?
1 star from G. Kyle.
I'll let you go. I want to wrap this one up.
All right. Well, in that case, let's alternate. So we've had a low rating. I reckon you might.
Yeah, it's getting 4 stars.
4 stars from Murray.
Because for me, you need to watch it just to actually learn about a different culture. Like in the cinemas, you don't learn about different cultures for one. You're going to learn about a different culture for now. It was shot really, like, it was beautiful. Like, some of the scenes, even the scenery. I was like, I didn't know Sweden has this grass kind of thinking. And I was thinking, oh, it's actually nice to be in the sun for that long.
Yeah.
And I was just like, it's such an I just looked at it, looked like it was a surreal experience in terms of the cinema, being there, watching it. But I enjoyed it. And it was funny because when other people have watched it, there was writing their things. I was like, no, I can't look at what they're writing. I was like, da, 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 da. And then when I watched it, I was having a little conversation with people. And I was like, I can't say everything I want to say about it, but I say watch it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, for me personally, it's one of the best films of the year.
Okay.
For the value of self-learning.
Yeah.
And understanding other people.
Yeah.
And to see how other people change and see, because there's so many different little mini themes. Like you see the greed and the ambition of the boyfriend. You see the ambition of the black guy.
Danny just wants the replacement of her family from loss,
and
grievance,
then you see it, and then you just see the guy being a prick just because he has no focus, because he doesn't know what he wants.
And
you saw how the Sweden one, he already knew what the plan was. He was like, how can I facilitate this? And all of these things, I just thought, you're seeing all these characters learning and growing and seeing why they're there. That's why I recommend everyone watch it. Like, you might not like it, but you're going to learn something from it, or you're going to think about, you got to have an opinion about it because of what it does. So either way, it's something to do.
4 stars from Amari. I'm going to give this 2 stars.
Yes.
And you've made some very good points, and I agree with you in the terms of the shock value and I like films that make you think, that make you maybe look at life, your life, and the way you live your life in a different way, and it reminds you that yes, as maybe as fantastical as it was at parts and as exaggerated, there are people out there in the not so far away who are living their life with completely different ideologies and in a completely different way. So I get that. But for me, such an interesting start, but it fell off. It fell way off. The film left a bit too much to the imagination for me. I'd say Ari Aster got a bit too carried away with some of his plot. I will go and watch Hereditary based off of what this is and what I've heard. But watching them this way round, I'm not as anticipating the film as much as I would have done if I hadn't have seen this. The plot, as I said, it was good. It started well, but it just got a bit silly. You knew where it was kind of going from early on. It was only going to go one way. And then I think that sort of ending sequence, we touched on it, Carl, it just got a bit just ridiculous. Like, just kind of lost out. But the one thing which I think would be my sort of like, yes, go and watch this film, is the cinematography. As you've said, Amari, as you've also said, Giles, visually, this film was beautiful. From the minute you kind of went from the dark sort of murky feel of whatever American city they were in to the bright, full of natural sort of just captivating area they were in. And the thing is, they were in a field. It wasn't even all about it. It was the way that he shot it, and the lighting and the panning and the sort of the silent scenes with it was really, really visual and really good visuals. So that was what I kind of enjoyed, which kind of kept me going, but everything else was a bit too silly. So yeah, 2 stars from me. Kyle, for the final verdict.
Unfortunately, what you just said is not enough. It's not an understatement when I say this is one of the worst films I've watched in my life.
Time pause. You can't say anymore. You said worst.
Hold on.
We've seen films though.
No,
Can we
just
play-
said this
can we
is
play
one
a
of the
game?
worst.
Can we play a quick
This is
game?
one of the worst films he's just seen.
Can we,
He's like,
can we
hold
play
on.
a quick game?
Tell me, he didn't just say that.
Kyle, do you not think you're going in a bit too hard?
Like,
Nah.
you've seen
Nah.
other films that we.
No.
You're trying to put it
No.
on the mummy level.
Can we just have a quick? Can we play a game?
No.
It's called Guess Carl's Star Rating.
Hold on. Put me in the hot seat. I think I'm about to make a jackpot. I think I'm going to win.
The first 10 minutes out were okay, but then it descended into what I can only describe as pure filth.
He said filth. Do you know what filth
Yes.
is?
Pure filth, nonsense, and stupidity. Why are the students going to this strange community? Why are they not running away as soon as they see a man jump off a cliff onto a rock with his face half gone? Why are they not noticing people going missing? Why is he only concerned after you've just had sex with a girl? Why are you smiling with glee that 6 people have just got burned alive? No.
No, technically, that's not correct. Because most of them were dead.
Oh, well, yeah.
But nonetheless, she's still smiling.
He's still smiling. The film is just a series of disgusting acts.
That's it was disgusting.
Hold on. Carl, let me just type this up. I've got ariaster@hotmail.com. We're going to send this straight to him.
Yes,
this is
please. They tried to portray themselves as symbolic, but only used for shock value. What was the message of the film? Only the pure ones survive. Okay, and that means you can just laugh and smile as people die. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I couldn't have put it better myself.
I thought the tone of the film was boring, and I never intend to watch one of this director's films again.
What? So he's blacklisted?
He is blacklisted. He didn't even go and watch. He's done.
Oh,
He's in that little book.
Yeah.
That little book that, in Casino that Joe Pesci gets put in. He's in that little book. He's
Your time is coming.
done. He's done.
He's done. He's finished.
So Carl, after all of that, 4 stars.
See, for the rating, you should get another star just because he rated it.
No, if you haven't seen the film, don't bother. I've just saved you 3 hours. That's how long this film was. I've saved you 3 hours of your life.
It was long.
So I'm
Carl,
done.
you know what we might have to do for Instagram? We might have to do a post saying this was Kyle Taylor's face during.
But Carl, what was your star rating, bro?
Ah, sorry, I forgot that. 1 star.
Wow. What to say, man? What to say? So with Kyle's very in-depth review there, that is going to bring the TMRG star rating of Midsommar 2. 2 stars.
How has that got 2 stars? I want to recount.
No,
1 second.
it's got better than Godzilla.
hold on.
Yes.
Hold on.
Yes.
Recount, right.
Yes.
Do the maths, bro.
I'm doing a recount.
Do the maths.
Hold on. I'm not having that.
Hey, listen. It's.
What did you give it?
So I gave it 2. And then Amari gave it 4. And then both
This
yourself
is 4 that's
and
brought it
Kyle.
up.
Then, yeah, it is, isn't it?
What do you mean?
The law of averages.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, 2 stars.
It's 4.
Well, what can I say?
Excuse, I must apologise for my language, but this film